Good morning, Faith Family. It's Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving Thursday. We have typically begun to consider this Black Friday. Of course, that's a bit of a misnomer now because you start seeing sales and all that's coming to us much, much earlier. But I hope yesterday was good for you. I hope you really enjoyed your family if you have them. If you do not personally have them with you, I hope memories were able to soothe and comfort you as we give thanks to God for all the rich blessings He pours out on us. And so we're still looking at the theme of worship. And that's one of the reasons why I mentioned Black Friday, because on Black Friday, it's as though the manufacturing, the retail areas really trying to get us to zero in on what we want, our personal desires, and bring them to a place where we just absolutely have to have something. And that it makes me think a little bit about worship. And what I mean by that is this: years ago, like my first church I ever pastored, I did a word study on the word worship. And I traced it back to an old English word that was stated worthship. And the idea was to assign to worth or value. And so when we talk about worship, we're talking about ascribing to or attributing to or giving back to what one is worthy of. And sadly, for many, we isolate that to Hebrews 13:15, which Brother Aaron walked us through yesterday, meaning the sacrifice of praise, the fruit of our lips. And it's more of an experience in that sense. And that's unfortunate, because as we look at worship biblically, worship is much richer and it's much more enduring. And it goes into many areas of our life. Not the least of which is how we relate to others. That's the reason why Hebrews 13:16 says this: don't neglect to do what is good and to share, for God is pleased with such sacrifices. Use the word sacrifices intentionally. Remember, we're talking to a Jewish audience here. They understood sacrifices and the implication of how those would fit into a routine of life, typically used for a season of worship. And so don't neglect to do what's good and to share, for this is pleasing to God. So we need to understand that worship is an endeavor. It's not just an experience. It's an endeavor to show God, to demonstrate to God that He truly is the greatest value of our life. And to think that we can do that in 1 hour on Sunday is so unfortunate. And to think that it has to be restricted to a time of just singing songs. And that to me is one of the downfalls of our highly experiential, highly feelings-driven culture, is that we often isolate worship to that small section. Thus, we typically think about good worship as songs that appeal to our emotions, songs that just reach deep within us, that resonate. So to the point where we often will discard theology, we'll often discard historical hymns that are rich. They are rich in their implications, they are rich in their historical setting, they're rich in their theology, and they're rich. Now, the way that the tune that it's set to may be a little outdated, but that doesn't mean the words are. That doesn't mean the poetry, the lyrics are. But even worse than that is restricting worship to just an experience that we have on Sunday or Wednesday. No, worship is the way we go about demonstrating to God, moment by moment, every second of the day, that He alone is the greatest treasure of our life, that He alone is the highest value that we hold, and that we elevate Him above and beyond any and everything. And according to the writer of Hebrews, one way we do that, one key essential way, is in how we treat others. He says here, do what's good and share. So when we are faithful to sacrificially give so that others' needs are met, when we are faithful to set aside our own emotions and our own discouragements and our own whatever you want to put in that phrase, in order to meet the needs of another, that's a mode of worship. That's an avenue of worship. That's a demonstration of value for and to God. And so my prayer is that before we get here on Sunday, this coming Sunday, for corporate worship, that we will have experienced personal worship in Bible study, personal worship in time of prayer, meditation, and personal worship in sharing the gospel and in how we relate to others, one another as the body of Christ, others in terms of unbelievers. Because that, my friends, is not only a demonstration of God's love, but to God, it's a demonstration of how much we value and prize Him. It is worship. Looking forward to worshiping with you this coming Sunday, but until we get together corporately, remember that individually we should worship God in every area and aspect of our life, and we do that as we're faithful to live sent.